Hello and welcome to another bike ride video. This time I am on the busway again. Let's get this up. I'm tracking my way with Map My Ride. And the idea there is, the idea is a little insane. It's to go all the way to St Ives, which from where I am right now, this is all rather new, where I am right now is 12 miles away. I've already done a mile from home just to get to this point, so I really should leave my ride on here and keep an eye on there, because I've got to monitor the battery life. That's the thing about the batteries in this thing, is they will work for quite some time, and they did keep going all the way to Clayhythe Bridge last week, which was, well, that was half an hour, and that was about 7 miles, I think, and I managed to stretch that ride out to 10 miles. Actually, no, it wasn't 7 miles, it was about 5. It was under 5. I managed to stretch it out to 10 by taking a longer route home. So, all this stuff I'm going past at the moment on my right is Cambridge Science Park. Over on the left is just basically the end of people's back gardens. I'm sure they used to have such a quiet time living around here, and then some bright spark decided to put the busway here, which I still guess a lot quieter than had they reopened all of this as a railway, which was the other proposal at the time. And I'd have preferred, this busway has been open for several years now, still not actually been on it. Actually, I think we're level. We're probably dead level with Lovell Road at the moment. So yeah, I'll leave it in the camera map, the camera app on my way to St Ives, and then I'll swap back to Map My Ride for the way home, because I won't be filming both ways. Also having to keep an eye on this, because I don't know if it's going to suddenly stop. I thought last week it would stop when I hit 30 minutes. Thankfully it didn't. Still a little wary of it. Cambridge Regional College stop on the busway. Council are doing some serious threshing away at the weeds. And there's your actual Cambridge Regional College entrance on the right, which I have studied at an awful long time ago, way back in the 90s. But I used to join the busway somewhere around here and I don't know why it is. Just hadn't quite cottoned on to the fact that it's so much easier to join near Cambridge North Station. Sure why anyone has to ding you at the moment. All this width, and they could just cycle on the other side of the busway. Or the cycleway, I should say. It's being Wednesday. My podcast of choice at the moment is Films to be Buried with Brett Goldstein, and his guest this week is actor-director Tony Way, who's one of those names who you probably not necessarily, it's one of those names that doesn't necessarily conjure up a face, but if you go off and Google him, you'll soon discover he's one of those people that, oh yes, it's him, and he's been in loads of things. Me thinking, why is there this noise here? It's probably not to do with the bridge at all. No, it's not. It's still all this. This was going on about a month ago when I last came down here, which was, I think, my second... Yeah, I think it was my second bike ride of lockdown. Also, it was the second bike ride of lockdown, but it was the first one I'd been able to film as the camera arrived on the first bike ride, on the day of the first bike ride of lockdown, but hadn't been charged, so couldn't use it that day. Well, that, and it's a very urban ride, that first one. It's not really possible to wear this with a cycle helmet. Plan, like last week, is not to actually shoot any photos until I start heading back. We're kind of in the zone. We're in the zone of just cycling steadily along. And this first few miles of this ride are actually quite interesting and quite pleasant, and there's plenty to see. Probably it comes after Swavesey, which was as far as I went last time, and then the scenery gets a bit dull and monotonous. I think this is the A14 we're about to go under here. Set. So, this is Milton. Station Yard. Another reason this is not worth shooting a video coming back the other way is you basically have the sun shining straight into the camera. Now I'm fairly sure this over here is Chivers, where I did seasonal work between 95 and 97. Not constantly, very seasonal, but I'm fairly sure that's what it is, due to the fact that we seem to be running level, which is very hard to tell though. Let's put that scarf in front of our mouth, because that's like really going to protect us from COVID-19. 19, sorry, yes. Oh, that so is Chivers. You can actually smell the jam in the smoke coming out of it, where they're cooking the jam today. Oh, such a long time ago. Wasn't necessarily the most fun place to work, but they did always let you go home early on a Friday. It's the main highlight of working at Chivers. You've got to go home early on a Friday. And they paid you weekly. So Fridays were often you've been paid, so you went out and spent money on the way home, because you'd actually got money after a week of working. Those people who seems to think you have to wear different clothes to go cycling. I never quite understood that. And we've now had our hour and a bit of films to be buried with. On to another film podcast, now listening to Kermode and Mayo's film review, which they're somehow managing to record from their homes. I've been looking forward to this bike ride, but that's probably because a fair chunk of it's easy to do. It's the final third-ish where things get dodgy. My legs start getting worn out, and other bits start getting worn out as well. And then you've got some times that you can go, oh, now I've got to turn around and knacker myself again getting home. Considering the number of times I've been down here now, it's amazing how unfamiliar a lot of it is to me, but I guess it's because quite often I get as far as the Girton turning, which I think we've just passed. And when you get to the Girton turning, you can head off to the left, head over a very bumpy path by a field, and then end up in the village of Girton, which is right on the edge of Cambridge and is a good route home. Yeah, this is the road route to Girton, so I think we've already been past the cycle route. But this far out in the middle of nowhere, yeah, good 2 miles outside Girton, which you most definitely are not when you take the cycle route. About this at the moment is you don't have to hang around pressing buttons. A very distant view of the church over there, which I think is at Swavesey, but we've not even remotely got as far as the windmill yet. Fact about today is I set off earlier, so hopefully I won't miss Prime Minister's questions. And although that said, there's not much going on with it at the moment, so I may skip it. And B, hopefully I won't have to de-layer before I head home. Currently my hands, which as you can see, morning, as you can see, don't have my gloves on, are rather cold. It's another one. What is it with people in their cycling gear who don't need to dress up to get on a bike, people? Perfectly decent pair of jeans here. Not that the camel wears them, but it's far too cold for all that. Far too cold. Annoyingly, this camera is so wide angle, it's shooting a shot off my hat. So apologies for that. Can't be helped. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's a church tower over there. But as I say, I've given myself this rule next week of not stopping to some Ives. So anything that would otherwise have been a photograph will be taken on the way back. That's assuming I actually remember to do it. Oh, bird. Another one. There's more of those today than there are people wearing masks. comes uphill. We've reached another one of those points where the busway crosses a road, and also I have a feeling we're going to swap sides again. Why they couldn't make this path consistently on one side, I'm not sure at all, because on either side there's not a great deal, apart from when you hit Milton. I always get confused in Milton and Histon, but apart from when you hit where Chivers is, and then understandably you've got industrial stuff on your right. Yeah, we are swapping sides again. So this is another X station. Yeah, that was Milton, because there's a sign for it. 8 more miles to go before I turn around. I always forget which station this used to be, but it is an incredible mural. Oh look, 2 people that are not socially distant. Get to this point, the actual path is not quite as wide. Not sure what they're building here. Possibly an expansion of the busway, but I'm not sure where it would go. Well, they're certainly apparently planning to send it off to Camborne. I'm not sure if that's what is in that direction. Here comes the busway, I don't know why it's got its lights on in broad daylight. What a waste. Lose a layer somewhere around here last time. Thankfully I've got my spring summer coat on now. Oh, this is left here now. This is North Stowe, which when I first did this bike ride, North Stowe was nothing. Northstowe was basically a few signs saying Northstowe will be built here, and now it's sort of something. I'm not quite sure how big it's going to be, but that's where it is. Nice on the way back. But this is glorious. Still chilly, grows used. Already in 2 scarves on the oddest thing about this camera is it makes everything look really far away. Those trees are literally just over on the other side of this bank, but they look miles away on this camera, especially as you approach them. Just here was where I stopped about a month ago and had to lose a layer. It's a great route for song. It's not such a great route for actual birds. Want actual birds? Head down by the river we head on the southern spur. Recording. I've got 34 minutes here. That means it's 34 minutes in one clip. I won't have to join them together. Last time I did this about a month ago, I accidentally stopped the camera somewhere around here, and it became about at least 2 clips long, which increases the upload time considerably because you have to spend hours and hours and hours joining together 2 lengthy bits of 1080 30 HD. Nothing I can do. So this bit seems to be slightly downhill. My head into an incline. I don't know, I don't know how far away space was. To be fair, it wasn't a long ago. idea what that is. In the middle of nowhere. Knows where that's driven from. Thanks. So underdressed for the conditions. Maybe it was around here. Maybe around here. I mean, I'm warm. I'm not so warm that I'd lose a leg just yet. May do that for the journey home when the sun will be in my eyes. So yeah, it's not overly clear on the video, but all of this over here, that is North Stowe. That seems to be some kind of bird of prey. It's hovering. Oh. It'll have moved by the time I even get the camera up. Sod it. Oh no, it's coming this way again. Not sure what this is at all. Oh, it's back in position. Not remotely sure what that is. It's a bird, by the way, so I'm sure it won't have shown up on here. Well, it's a bird of prey somewhere, see? It's not going to come up there. I shall post the photo to Facebook later and see if anyone knows what it is. So there goes my rule. But wildlife is a rare exception to that rule of not stopping for photos. Off we go again. Ah, now we're getting close to where I was when I turned round a month ago. And so that means we're just about to get level with Swavesey. And weirdly, that church I could see a few miles back vanishes, even though we're closer to it. It just vanishes. So that's a freak of a sort of freak of geography, I guess. They're very grand, these houses in Northstowe, very grand indeed. Dull, but grand. So, that is your Northstowe stop on the busway. Of course, this is not called Northstowe Park and Ride. Northstowe is being built right next to Long Stanton. Oh. There's a fella over there who could do with a walk ride. Oh, I shouldn't say such things. PC people will say I'm fat shaming. Yeah. Yes, I think I may pause in the next couple of miles. There's a useful bridge I can stop under, and I can lose at least one layer. The sun is starting to cut through my back big time now. Still maintain I'm not overdressed though, considering how early I set out, and considering the actual air and wind are quite cold. It's the sun that's warm. By the way, well done if you've got this far through the video. We've just hit 45 minutes. Drop a like, drop a comment, let me know you're actually watching these things. Hopefully I won't get that idiot troll that I had 2 weeks ago, yes. 2 weeks ago when I did Coton, and I had an idiot come on my YouTube and go, we all know the roads are empty. Yeah, your point being. Is it 5 miles? 2.25 I think it is to Swavesey, and 5 to my actual turnaround point today. Both knees now aching. So it's all good for you, this exercise malark, apparently. I will be absolutely knackered this afternoon. Absolutely knackered. So that's what it's all for. It's going to be interesting to see when I swap back over to map my ride how many calories I've burnt. So that might be a good way to finish the video when I get to the other end. Dingy, boggy and drainage ditchy over there. Ooh, may have to stop again. It's a rather distance sighting, but over there there's a wind farm, so let me just skip that. So I won't see it on the way back. Focus on this is entirely screwed. There is an actual heat haze today. It's quite remarkable. You wouldn't think it was warm enough for a heat haze, but really it is. So we'll clip the camera all sealed up again. 49 minutes. Which in reality means about an hour in terms of distance from home. So we're just coming up to 10 to 10. So I'll certainly get there before 11:30. No, sorry, before 10:30. So I should be back before 11:30. Remains to be seen which podcast I'm on by then, because Wittertainment I'm on at the moment is quite long. But third on the list today will be Danny Baker's Treehouse. Getting slightly closer to that wind farm. I don't think we ever get very near to. That is probably. I mean, I'm terrible on geography. I'm absolutely atrocious on it. But that is probably the wind farm that you pass when you get on a train heading away from Cambridge. You get on a train to, well, Birmingham or Leicester, tends to be where I change train if I'm heading to Derby. If you get on those kind of trains, you go past a wind farm. Not only do you go past it, you go really right past it. It's very close to the tracks, so that may well be that wind farm. As I say, I'm terrible. Don't ask me when it comes to geography. So I can see it clearly. You watching the video can't see it as clearly, but over there, out there, is Swavesey Windmill. Which last time I did this a month ago, I had a basket full of photographic equipment, including my new 500mm lens, and I lugged it all, and tripod, and I lugged it all the way out here to test out my then relatively new lens. That's alright. That was bought in readiness for getting to that was bought in readiness for getting to America this year, but that's all had to be cancelled now. Although rescheduling the flights is very much a work in progress. I'll have to have at that again before the week is out. 53 minutes and I've still only lost one button on the back. So that's good. It looks like we'll get there without having to rely on my battery backup. So what is rather good about this is that it's got a little USB socket on it, and you can actually plug in additional battery life, which I've never ever been able to do with one of these type of cameras. So, approaching in the distance, I can see, you can't see very clearly, there's another busway bus. This one heading back towards Cambridge. I'll have to look into the cost of travelling by the busway. That one goes all the way to Royston. Oh. So, going rapidly. Oh, this one coming back the other way. So you get a much better view of that one. So we'll again, it looks miles away on this camera, but I'm now approaching a bridge, which is a good point to pause and lose a layer as it is starting to get a bit warm. 54 minutes. But yeah, this is the point where I turned round last time. Morning. All people underdressed for cycling there. See, the only way in which I'm overdressed is I have a hoodie on under my coat, and I'm going to lose that. Now, there will be no edits in this video. Scarf off, coat off. Now, this is where it gets tricky. I could try and remove the camera without stopping it. Camera off. Have a look at the busway. Oh! Hoodie off. Apologies for the lack of view. Put you back on in a sec. Coat back on. Camera back on. Scarf 2 back on. At which point I'm feeling quite chilly because I'm in the shade. Let's park this hoodie. And it'll be off we go again. Shouldn't get quite so hot now. Now we've reached amber on battery. Still about 3 miles to St Ives. We'll see how we go. And I'd sooner attach the power when we actually reach red, which may mean we have to stop at a somewhat inopportune moment, but we'll see how we go. 58 minutes. to the final bit of the ride now. Rapidly approaching an hour. Yeah, that's the 1 hour that, to be fair, I've started recording this video later than Google's estimates. But, yep, just past the hour point. But Google's estimate was that we'd hit the hour at when I left my home. And at the hour, we'd have reached St Ives. And we're not even close to it yet. Yeah, that's going to be the really fiddly bit, actually, if I do have to plug the power in. That's going to be the danger moment in managing to keep the camera running and not have it stop, because the very last thing I want to do is have to do an edit, because you can join the two bits of footage together in VideoPad that I use on my PC, and then basically it will be sometime in the evening before it's remotely finished the edit. Pull it down a little bit. Yeah, everything from this point onwards is highly unfamiliar to me, because the last time I did this bit of the ride, it was 4 years ago, and I did it during a week off, and I had to be back at work the next week. And oh, horsey, just there, horsey. I'd hang around and take photographs, but I'm trying to power on now. You can't exactly forget to get this lot, because they'll be very visible, these sources, on the way back. Oh, uphill bit. So we're about 2 miles from 2 miles from St Ives now. And when you get this far along, you go, oh, why didn't I do this? You go, oh, cows. Definitely get those on the way back. As I say, when you get this far along, you go, oh, why didn't I do this before? It's not so much the getting there with this bike ride, because getting there is 12 miles. 12-mile bike ride, tiring, fatiguing, yeah, it's alright. It's the getting back, because then it's 12 miles getting back. And before you know it, you've done a 24-mile bike ride. Last time I did this, some fool, who shall remain nameless, but well done if you've listened this long, and that person is watching, but some fool on my Facebook then suggested I should take up park running. You, sir, have absolutely no idea how often I cycle this far, which is not very often at all. No. It's the one thing lockdown has done to me, is I wouldn't say I've gone exercise mad, because I only go on a bike ride once a week, but it's become this clear, defining moment for me in the centre of the week. Monday and Tuesday, watch a film. Thursday and Friday, watch a film. Wednesday, get out of the house and go for a bike ride. Ooh, now where are we? Oh, sheep. Oh, sheepy. Yeah, oh, it's still 3 miles from St Ives. Not as near as I thought. that. Now here's a lovely, lovely little church. So we'll pause here briefly, and so I'm not sure what church this is. Oh, it's the sign tells us we're at Swavesey Priory. I mean, it's called Swavesey Priory, but it's clearly a church. You can actually hear the sheep now. So, we're still at 2 amber on the battery life. Let's see how well 2 amber get us over 3 miles. Bloody hell, 3 miles. But yeah, we're keeping a close eye out for it hitting red on the battery. I don't really want to have to faff around attaching power to it till then. I think scarf 2 is going to have to come off. Yes, it's a gorgeous little church, Swavesey Priory. Well, I keep calling it Swavesey Priory because there's a sign nearby. It's one of those historic signs I've just been photographing calling it Swavesey Priory. For all I know, it may just be Swavesey Church. Sheep! All lambs and everything. Morning, sheep. I get the feeling when I last did this bike ride I wasn't in one of my best moods, because I tended to regard everything from about this point onwards as a bit dull. And it's not really. There's plenty of trees to see, there's plenty of birds to hear. Your entire viewpoint over one of these things can taint, your memory can be seriously tainted by can be seriously tainted by what your mood was like at the time. Oh, another uphill bit. Downhill bit that, all the way up to 14th Guinea. geese. My friend Nicky was photographing geese just yesterday. Are we now 1 hour? Slightly confusing me. It says 1 hour 70 minutes. More geese. Closing those down all the way back. That's rather weirdly, it says 1 hour 71 minutes. So basically 1 hour 10 minutes. Gorgeous lake it used to be. Bike ride won't really generate a video because it's going to be a lot shorter, and well, there'll be photos. It's just me trotting across to the part of Cambridge where I used to live up until the mid-1980s. Again, well done if you've got this far through the video. All the trouble of shooting these videos, which isn't any trouble at all, but I had all the trouble of generating these videos, and I get the feeling I'm the only person who watches them from beginning to end. Gorgeous birds somewhere. Absolutely gorgeous. 2 miles to St Ives. I'm not stopping here, but we'll pause briefly. Oh, great, they haven't given us a good, easy way out. But this is the RSPB Fen Drayton Lakes Nature Reserve. And you should be able to hear you should be able to hear the geese quite well now. So we are, we're here on this map, and we're heading towards St Ives which is there. And that's where the busway finishes. Huntingdon does have a train station, and there's a few places back this way have got train stations, but all of this used to be a railway line. In fact, this is a bit out of date because just to there should be Cambridge North Station. Fen Drayton Reserve. See, now that would be a worthy busway journey. A worthy busway journey definitely would be Cambridge right through to here, where you just get to sit back and watch your geese flying over the lake. Oh, I'm definitely stopping there on the way back. Lone inline skater. Morning. Oh, alright, don't say hello. God, you can't move the geese around it. These are the things you forget. Because I came along here 4 years ago, and yes, I've got photographs, and I've got a bit of video, but I have no memory of geese whatsoever, none whatsoever. A little nature reserve sign over here. Ooh, this is so gorgeous, we're going to have to stop for another photograph. You're standing at one end of a string of man-made wetlands that runs for 25 miles along the Great Ouse floodplain. We are transforming the old quarry lakes and traditional riverside wildlife and people, and a variety of wildlife is drawn to this area, including otters, dragonflies, ducks, swans and geese. This is a great place to discover nature all year round. Lottery funded. Ouse Washes RSPB. Let's see what we can get. Let's do one in 16:9. Makes me wish I'd brought my audio recorder with me. It's this great sound of geese. So that goes the camera. There's just about enough room to turn around here. Hello, geese. Morning. Oh, and back we go onto the busway. Still on amber in terms of battery. Big old rook. God, it's gorgeous round here. As I've often said, this is one of the best things about Cambridge. Cambridge essentially sits in the middle of nowhere. You look up Cambridge on a map and we're just surrounded by countryside. And you don't even need to be able to drive. You can just go for a long walk, get on a bike, and within minutes you're out here in the middle of nowhere. And whoa! I've forgotten how huge some of these lakes are.